Today we're chatting to the mastermind behind the extremely successful healthy protein cereal brand, SURREAL. Ruth Tyrie is brand and community manager at SURREAL and has a background in food and beverage brands like RX and Misfits, which has influenced her approach to brand management at SURREAL. SURREAL is a brand that combines health, innovation, and humour to create unique presence in the cereal market. They aim to make nutritious eating fun and appealing with a strong focus on community engagement and creative marketing. SURREAL was founded by a team passionate about health and nutrition, aiming to transform the cereal industry with innovative, healthy options. SURREAL was founded by a team passionate about health and nutrition, aiming to transform the cereal market with innovative, healthy options. Ruth was the third employee to join SURREAL. Firstly, I want to say a massive thank you to you for putting a smile on so many faces across LinkedIn, which is often a very boring platform. So SURREAL is often very much top of my LinkedIn feed. So it's very refreshing to see creative and fun marketing campaigns. Do you get that a lot, where people are commenting on how much they love it?
It does seem to rise to the top on LinkedIn quite a lot. I'm also constantly reminding people that I can't take credit for it. That actually lies with our senior creative, John. He's the LinkedIn wizard.
Can you take some credit for it, though, the social campaigns?
Oh, yeah, the social campaigns, the photos, like the launches, that sort of stuff. The words you see on LinkedIn come from John.
Funny, very funny. But all of the photos and everything and all the campaigns, absolutely love them too. So you definitely aren't giving yourself enough credit for that. We'll start by chatting a bit about you. And I should start by mentioning that Ruth and I went to Edinburgh Uni together, and both being part of the hockey club, which feels like a very long time ago. Are you still playing hockey?
I'm not, actually. I've gone down the adult PE route. Smashing a lot of F45. Just high rocks training, done 3 marathons in the last year. Yeah.
3 last year?
In the last 365 days.
Wow.
That was back in April, but yeah.
An all-rounder.
The marathons have absolutely rinsed my bank balance.
I thought you were going to say ruined your joints more than anything, but
yeah, my knees and my bank balance are like screaming at me.
Which marathons did you do?
I did London, and then that was in April, Berlin, and Brighton the following April.
Wow, that's impressive. Have you got any more lined up?
I do have the itch, but I want to do a really good one. Like I didn't get London, would like to do New York. Yeah, something good.
Yeah, I'm very jealous, but I kind of need some motivation to do a marathon. I feel like I'm a bit scared. What would you advise me?
There's honestly no better feeling than people just clapping for you. Like, I honestly run marathons for attention. Like, you get a medal, everyone asks you about them exactly like now, and there's people cheering the whole way around. It's absolutely sick.
It's so impressive, though, to be fair. I went to the London Marathon to watch this year, actually. One of my friends was doing it, and I've got goosebumps even talking about it. It's amazing. It's actually next level. There's people supporting the entire way around.
Oh, I love it. Like, some people were born football hooligans. I was born like a running race hooligan, screaming, crying. I was at the London Marathon for like 4.5 hours by myself for 3 of them. I couldn't speak the next day.
Oh, that's so fun. And now you're onto high rocks.
Yeah, more adult PE. But yeah, it's good. It mixes in the running with the other workouts.
Yeah, nice. So you fit all this in with all your hard work as well. So you have a background in food and beverage brands, is that right?
Yeah, quite specifically the protein niche. I've really pigeonholed here, but that's my space and I love it.
Is it because you love it that you got into it?
I sort of fell in. I started off at a property investment firm as the world's worst office manager.
Self-proclaimed, I hope.
And like very quickly, it was just like a stepping stone. I very quickly realized it wasn't for me, or like it was never gonna set my world alight. So it was always the goal. And then RX Bar came along, And it was such like an exciting concept. It was a really well-established brand in the US, and they were just starting to kind of get going in the UK, and it was a really small team. So that was a stepping stone. Then there was Misfits, which was like quite similar again, like really small team, 10 people when I joined, growing in the protein space, but with a vegan twist. And then SURREAL came along, and they were like, we're going to throw protein at cereal and it's going to taste nice. Do you want in? And I was like, yeah.
So were you in from right at the start then? When was it that SURREAL started off?
Employee number one. Yep. So
Wow.
SURREAL started about, wild.
That's so cool. Does that make you feel more engaged in your role because you've been there from the start? So it's kind of like you've been on this amazing journey with them, and you can see such a progression, I imagine, from right at the start.
Yeah, for sure. Like at the beginning, I remember the day we hit 2,000 followers, and we went out for a drink to celebrate. We were like, yes, this is huge.
I'm only laughing because like 2,000 followers is very good, but I imagine now you guys are at something ridiculous, are you?
Like the other day we hit 60 and no one realised, and I was like, whoa, guys, wait, we just hit another
Go for
milestone. It's wild how much kind of it's evolved. Like we're a team of 11, 12, don't want to forget anyone now, starting off from a team of 3, and just like the way that we do things has changed, like the pace at which we move, and stuff. It's never got boring.
Yeah. Oh, so can you just share a little bit about your role at SURREAL and what you actually do kind of day to day?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm the brand manager, which is, I think, a vague job title. It's not like I'm an accountant. That's a nice one word answer. I think it probably varies at every company, but at SURREAL, what it means is, so I look after our socials, so our Instagram, our TikTok, and then kind of all of our like campaigns and shoots. So all the kind of like the photography world that you see, any of the sampling that we do. So if you've ever been given a free bit of SURREAL, that was me.
The fun stuff, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, and then one of the funnest parts is brand partnerships. So like looking for brands that are like doing something similar or doing something completely different that we can still do something really fun with.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. And how do you go about looking for the right partners? What kind of partners do you kind of go for?
Honestly, anyone and everyone. Some of them feel more obvious than others. A Viagra brand, not an obvious partner for
Nope.
a cereal company, or a condom brand. We did, for Valentine's Day, we did good for spooning, good for forking. And it's just if there's like a line or something like that, like we knew we needed a condom brand. The Viagra brand, that was with a cheese company, a gym company, them. So it's Harder was the Viagra brand.
Very good.
Feta was the cheese brand. Breakfaster was us, and Stronger was the gym brand. So sometimes it's about finding someone who fits an idea we've already got, or sometimes it's us reaching out to a brand or them reaching out to us, and we'll go from there and see what we can do. We'll crowbar our way in anywhere if it's the right brand.
And it's fun working with loads of different types of people. I suppose when you've said you're a small team, it's obviously great working with your team, but it's great to also get experience from totally different kind of streams, like you're saying about gym brands and stuff like that, which obviously you're also, I imagine, very interested in too. That would be really cool to work with them, I imagine.
Yeah, super cool, especially when they're like, oh, do you want to come down and do a class, and we'll get the team in, and kind of everyone's then really immersed and they know exactly who we're working with and like why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And I've seen recently as well that you have promoted some very unique flavors of cereal brands. So Brussels sprout cereal. I did a bit of digging though to see whether that was actually a real flavor on the shelves.
There's still 56 units in the warehouse if you want one, Steph.
Yeah, send one our way. That is honestly, so you actually did make them.
Yeah. The way we approach stuff is like not half-heartedly ever. So if you're going to make a, you see brands, they do crazy stuff for April Fool's Day, and it just feels like one kind of singular moment. Whereas what we would do is take something that we would do on April Fool's Day and do it on any other day of the year and make it bigger and make it real. So even if we only produce, I think we did like 500 boxes of Brussels sprout, but it has to be real and it gets the customer involved, whether that's like a jokey Secret Santa, or like a perfect cereal gift for a cereal lover. It's always better when it's real.
Yeah, and I imagine people would have definitely wanted to buy, like I'm talking about it now. I didn't actually realize it was a real flavor, so I'm now dying to try that. Whether or not I like it, who knows? But then I can imagine people, it's a great in as well, because then people go on, they realize you've got all these other amazing flavors, like more common flavors, should we say? And people, I imagine, want to try those too.
Yeah, I hope people try our other flavors before they try Brussels sprout.
Or maybe it's good they try the Brussels sprouts first if it's not so good, and then they try the others and they're like, wow.
Yeah, as long as we don't scare them off with the bright green, then we're good.
Yeah, I imagine if someone hadn't seen all of your marketing and then they see that you've got a Brussels sprout cereal, they might not realize that it's not totally serious.
Yeah, we sometimes have to check ourselves on a serious level, sometimes with the stuff we're posting on Instagram, and make sure it's not 100% unhinged social media manager, and occasionally just chuck in an image of the odd bowl of cereal. So anyone new to the page knows that we are a legitimate business available in Sainsbury's.
Yes, very good.
And we make actual cereal, not just Brussels sprout flavour.
I know, but the thing is as well with your social though, you get people to notice you. So then they go on to Sainsbury's and they see it and they say, oh, look, there's the brand that I saw on socials. So perfect. Yeah. Actually, I must admit that my boyfriend did exactly that. He's not really one for much social media, but he did go into Sainsbury's and pointed out your cereal and did buy it. So that's good.
He bought it.
Yes. And he enjoyed it. So that's good. He loves his protein. So perfect. He loves cereal and loves protein. So he was like, wow, match made in heaven.
Brilliant. I've made a sale.
Yeah. Woo. So we'll attribute that to whatever you're doing. So
yes, thank you.
What would your cereal of choice, like if you could pick a flavor, what would it be?
Ooh, I think because like for me, like cereal, and I think for everyone you speak to, cereal's so nostalgic. Like anyone you speak to, they loved cereal as a kid. Their face kind of starts lighting up and it's all mascots and toys in boxes and colourful packaging. And then for some reason that just flops when you become an adult. Like it's all, high fibre or boring or doesn't taste good. And anything that has those sort of nutritional aspects doesn't tick the taste box. So I think I go down the nostalgic route of like other things you'd loved in childhood. So for me, it would either be like a custard cream, so like a nice, like delicious, like crunchy, biscuity situation, or like some of the insane sort of pick and mix sweets.
Yeah, nice. What's the best selling flavor at the moment?
Cocoa. Cocoa's the ride or die.
Okay, nice. I've just had an idea then when you were thinking about, when you're saying about nostalgic, and this, it kind of gives a nostalgic vibe. Do you remember those? Well, you will because you work in cereal, but you remember those cereal boxes which had like mini ones and like the little
variety
ones?
Packs.
I'm like, you see, I don't like eating loads of cereal, but I like little ones. So I'm like, if you want to introduce those, then no worries, I'll get some of those.
Wow. Well. We actually have some. We have some for sampling. So if we are turning up to a gym, obviously people want to kind of go and get out. It's 7:00 in the morning. So we actually have those minis that we give out to people.
Oh, nice.
And it means they can just kind of grab it and take it away. But we are looking at ways to bring them to the masses.
Nice. Great. What would you say your most successful marketing campaign is that you've done, and what made it stand out from the others that you've done? Because I've seen so many across all of your socials, DIY billboards, and lots of dog content. Love it. I actually particularly love when you do like, I mean, I'm very much a LinkedIn person, so that's why I'm talking a lot about LinkedIn, but I appreciate you're doing a lot of hard work across all the socials. But the lists for things to do on a Monday or something, like just all the silly things to do on specific days of the year or something like that, I find those funny because they're so relatable.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like those really break through on LinkedIn because it's so full of thrilled to announce, here's the things that my packed lunch taught me about B2B marketing.
Yeah.
And it really just kind of cuts through that noise and that kind of drabness that you're used to seeing. It's like brag central or sob story central. Sorry, LinkedIn.
True.
But back to our kind of most successful campaign. Internally, we call it biggest names. So we found normal people with celebrity names. So we had a Serena Williams, a Dwayne Johnson, a Ronaldo, and a Michael Jordan. And we got them to endorse us. So, billboard saying Serena Williams loves our cereal, that sort of thing. The campaign went huge. It got 20 million views, like 500,000 engagements, and it did get us 3 cease and desists. So overall,
nice.
Huge success.
That's so good. So did you share pictures of the people, or did you just you were just chucking them in there like as if they were the celebrities?
The thing that had the most success was the billboards, which were copy only.
Yeah.
But we did have a video to go with it that we recorded with them tasting the cereal, so you could see, and it had sort of, Dwayne Johnson, bus driver, loves cereal. So you got to see the real people, and we got them involved.
I bet they loved that as well, because they probably get it all the time that they say their full name and everyone's like, you've got the same name as someone famous.
Oh, Michael Jordan is our bestie. He's in the DMs all the time.
That's so good. Oh, nice. How did you find them?
A lot of LinkedIn stalking, Instagram stalking. I still have like 6 pending LinkedIn requests that I've sent out to Serena Williams's.
One day maybe you'll get the real Serena.
Oh, one day. I'd love that.
Yeah.
An icon.
How do you come up with all these ideas? Do you guys have like creative meetings together and then all bounce ideas off each other?
So we're really lucky. So we have an in-house creative who joined us from Innocent Smoothies. So a lot of what he does is thinking time. So that's John. So he does our copy and our creative, and he'll kind of
that makes so much sense.
Yeah. People put 2 and 2 together and they're like, oh, that guy. So a lot of our big ideas come from John, and then what he'll do is kind of chat the team through them, and we'll kind of flesh them out, develop them, and then it's my job really to kind of like go away and execute them and make sure they actually happen. And then we also have a weekly meeting that we call Bowl Storm, where kind of the whole team from across the business will suggest different ideas or different kind of topics to brainstorm around. So it gives everyone in the business a chance to be creative and kind of like solve any problems we're having or amplify a launch that we're doing. And I think it sounds a bit cringe, but I think we're all believers that a good idea can come from anywhere.
Yeah. And a lot of the time, we often find that I think people hold back, that they think maybe their idea is a silly idea, or we aren't going to be able to do it or something like that. I think I have been guilty of having that mindset at times. But I mean, obviously we're in a totally different industry, but still the same kind of, I mean, our team, everyone's got great ideas, but a lot of the time because of what we're in, potentially we're B2B and maybe supposed to be seen as kind of more serious and obviously more professional, but at the same time we're all humans at the end of the day. Like, people have a lot of really good ideas for stuff but are maybe holding back because they think it's maybe not suitable in the B2B environment or something like that. So I think I really like the idea of you having all of the team involved in bringing their ideas to the table and kind of chucking any ideas in there. Because once you get one idea, then the ball gets rolling. You could come up with something completely different, but it stemmed from that initial idea that was chucked in there by could be anyone on the team, really.
Yeah, exactly. There's no limits. It's a fairly safe space. Like, we do laugh at each other, yeah. But overall, like, it's always like, I think it's everybody's favorite meeting of the week.
Yeah. And I mean, you'd never take any risks if people didn't come with kind of these what seem to be crazy ideas of things that you think maybe you can't achieve, but actually you've got to kind of moonshot, like you've got to chuck in these ideas and give it a go. I mean, we kind of experienced that a little bit with our event that we organize. We initially were like, oh, we'll never get to organize an event in the expo site in Dubai in the UK pavilion. And somehow, looking back, I'm like, how did we manage that? But it's just like, that's something that we never thought we'd be able to do, but managed to do it because we kind of set our sights on it. So, you know, it's good not to have limits in your thinking. Otherwise, all the stuff that we're all working on, all of marketing and everything, things change so fast. So you've got to kind of go with it. You can't just sit and kind of be happy with where you're at. You've just got to take these risks, and that's how you move forward with stuff. And that's how we grow, I suppose, as brands across all of marketing.
100%. I think the same goes for, like, it takes one person to say yes and start something off. I also think sometimes the braver decision is actually deciding to bin an idea you really like.
Yeah.
Like, if it's not working, or if it's actually not having an impact, then actually sitting down and having that conversation, being like, I think we should scrap this project, is equally as valuable.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, because you think of an idea and a lot of the time, if it's your idea, you really don't want to let go of it, but it might be actually hindering other progressions in some other form. That's a good point. I like that. What would you say is the most significant risk you've taken in your career?
Ooh, probably joining SURREAL. Obviously, like, I loved my time at Misfits and the whole team, and it was a super established business. So my parents thought I was crazy when I told them I was going to quit to go and sell cereal with two guys that I'd met once. But I was just so captivated by, like, firstly the guys, like Kit and Jack, the founders, and then by the idea. I hadn't really heard anything like it in the UK. The size of the category, the tone of voice that they shared with me before starting, and everything I saw about the brand, I was like, I'm in.
Yeah, like that. That's nice. And I imagine that because they've started the business, they are so passionate about it as well, which I imagine then kind of passed on to you. And now you've been there from the start. That's pretty cool.
It's crazy. It's mad to think how big we are now, and like how far we've come since we started. Like, when we first got going, it was like 4 of us in this, like, office, and now there's like, it's tripled in size since those very, very early days. But I think everybody really kind of eats, sleeps and breathes it. Not to a point where we're all like working crazy hours, but if someone sees something cool or inspiring, like, we're always sharing it. Like, our WhatsApp and our Slack channels are like a hive of basically just creative inspo that people are like, "Ooh, have you seen this?"
Yeah, that's cool. And I think that shows in everything that you guys do. So I think that's testament to everyone's passion and drive to kind of push the business forward. And it makes your day to day just so much more enjoyable, and you really enjoy what you do as well. And
100%.
Yeah, and it sounds like you've got loads of opportunity as well to kind of help build the brand and come up with everyone has the opportunity to come up with new ideas, and it just makes you much more engaged.
Yeah, everyone's super motivated, and there's not the same kind of red tape that you might have working with a bigger brand, or there's not sort of like a huge chain of sign off, which means like some of the crazy ideas they get through, and also they can be executed quickly.
Yeah. Has there ever been anything that's gone out that has kind of been like, ooh, probably shouldn't have done that?
Ooh, I mean, there's been plenty of stuff where we've been like, oh, thought that would do, thought that might do a bit better. Um, but all in all, everything's a learning. So you do something, and if it doesn't work, you don't do it again, or you do it much, much better next time. So there's no real, I've never posted something on Instagram and someone been like, what is that?
Yeah.
That take that down. I don't think we've got any deleted posts on the SURREAL Instagram other than ones we got cease and desists for.
Yeah, fair enough. Cool. Okay, so chatting a little bit about brand partnerships, which we mentioned earlier, just going into a bit more detail on that. So what kind of approach do you have then for finding people to collaborate with, companies to collaborate with, and what is it that makes these partnerships so successful, do you think?
That's a great question. I guess the start of it, there's like a few different routes. So there's like, we have our dream list, our kind of hit list of people that we would like to go after. Then there's sometimes like inbound requests, like we might get a random DM from a brand like, hey, we like what you're doing, do you want to do something? And we'll be like, yes.
Yeah.
And then there's us kind of, and then sometimes it starts with the idea, and what we'll do is find brands that fit that specific idea.
Okay, yeah, I like that. So, and then do you go down different routes? So, I know you mentioned a few of them earlier. Would you intentionally look for kind of different types of brands? So, I mean, obviously the condom brand, gym brand, totally different. Then would you look next for something totally different to those?
I think there's no set rules, so it's just whatever. And also, we're more interested in just making things happen than in spacing them out correctly. Like, I
Yeah.
don't have a fear about people getting confused that we sell cereal. I think that's fairly obvious. And especially with like some of the, so there's different scales to the partnership. So sometimes it might be like a social collaboration. Sometimes it might be more kind of growth focused and like on the D2C stuff. And other times it might be a full blown flavor. So it's just about like finding the right people, like the horses for courses to fit those things. And there's nothing to say that we wouldn't partner with the same brand twice if we had another idea that kind of fit the bill.
Do they ever come to you with ideas of what they think would work best?
Yeah, quite often. So like there's like we'll quite often like develop it. So there's something that I can't talk about happening
Ooh.
in the autumn. A brand approached us with the idea. I really can't say much more about
Okay,
this.
don't say
Actually, I've
anything
signed
else.
an
You'll get in trouble.
NDA. No, but yeah, sometimes people will come to us with an idea they really like, and from there, what we want to do is just like make sure that it kind of carries our tone of voice and fits the bill and is good fun. Like we're not trying to land lofty brand messages. We're just trying to make an impact.
Yeah. Yeah, it must be so fun working with all these different brands as well, doing different campaigns. And I imagine your day to day doesn't look the same every day.
No, it never gets boring. And working with all the different brands, there's always unbelievable product swaps going on. There's always a package of something from someone arriving at the office, and we're constantly sending out cereal to all these different brands.
You're like, the deal is if we're partners, then you must send free stuff.
Oh, well, the donut time partnership, we were like, brilliant. That's an absolute yes.
That's so good. Cool. What would you say your biggest personal goal and your biggest career goal is in the next few years?
On a personal level, not work related, I really want to get a cat.
I love cats. You're speaking to the right person here because most people don't. But I very
Like, I
much
want one
appreciate your
so
Instagram
much.
and cats.
I just, like, I think about it and I'm like, I'm not going to buy a house. Like, I just want responsibility for a tiny living thing. I just want a cat, personally. Yeah.
I thought you had one, or is it a family cat?
Yeah, I've got 2 cats at home.
What colour cat would you
Richard
get?
Branson has seen that cat. That's a fun fact.
What? Why? How?
So this is a long story, but so we did a LinkedIn post, and it was like all of our, but it was basically a LinkedIn post about how animals outperform our actual content on LinkedIn, and it went nuts on LinkedIn. Like it did numbers, and we're just like looking through the comments. There's like 1,500 comments or something on this thing, and Richard Branson had commented on this LinkedIn, which was loads of pictures of my cat, and I was like,
what?
Actual Richard Branson has seen my actual
He put pictures of the cat on the comments.
He wrote a comment related to the post saying,
right.
oh, I wonder if animals will perform well for me or something like that.
Wow.
And I was
That's
like,
fun.
This is mental. Yeah.
Oh, love it. I would love a cat too. Obviously a bit of responsibility, but they're cute.
I know.
You could, I was going to say you could take it into the office, but I doubt that. A lot of people don't like cats.
Yeah, there's a couple of dogs floating about the office, so I don't know how well that would do.
You wouldn't fancy a dog?
I don't want to pick up poo stuff.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Cats are much more clean, I think, to be fair. So
yeah.
What would you say
draw the line?
Yeah. What would you say your biggest career goal is in the next 5 or so years? It's quite a hard question.
I think for me, it's like I'm so invested in SURREAL. It's where I see like what I'm doing here. Like it's not a job title. It's not a salary. It's none of. I don't think it's like a super traditional goal. But where I would love to see us is like I would love to make a TV ad.
Yeah.
Kind of in the space of those like, shooting for the stars, the really memorable ones. Like, I mean, compare the market. Their whole business is now meerkats from those ads. Or like the Cadbury's Gorilla, the eyebrows, like a TV ad that kind of went down in history would be the absolute dream.
I think you guys are more than capable of that. I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Hopefully.
Cool. And what can you share any snippets into what SURREAL's next few years looks like? Hopefully a TV ad.
Yeah, firstly. TV ad, if I have my way.
Yeah.
Ton of new flavours coming. That's always going to be something we'll do. People love them.
Yeah.
We're always kind of like innovating. Hopefully some big brand partnerships which are flavour related.
Nice.
And from then on, who knows? World domination.
Yep. Knock out all the other cereal brands.
Only the naughty big boys.
Yeah. Are you guys in the US now, or is it mainly UK?
Just super focused on the UK. Yeah. So just do a lot of learning on D2C we get so much feedback and so much data from that. So learning as much as we possibly can about how to improve the product and kind of the nitty gritty on what nutritionals people are looking for. And then taking that data to retail and to the supermarkets and really just focusing on building out that base. And then who knows?
Yeah. Loads of room for opportunity. And what do you want people to remember most about SURREAL?
That we're just that cereal brand.
Nice.
That cereal brand who made me remember my childhood when I had a bowl.
Yeah.
That cereal brand who partners with condom companies. Just like, oh, have you heard of that cereal brand? And the next thing someone says, oh yeah, SURREAL.
Yeah. Well, you're very well known in the office, if that makes you feel better too.
That makes me feel great. I'll take that.
And a question that we ask all of our podcast guests, what is the one question you wish more people would ask you, and what would your answer be?
Ooh. Can I buy you a cat? Answer, yes.
Perfect. Thanks so much for coming on the podcast, Ruth. It's been absolutely fab to find out more about SURREAL and more about you, and just great to have you on.
Well, thanks so much for having me.
Hope you enjoyed the episode, and make sure to subscribe.